More than 100 million Americans face a severe weather threat this weekend. For much of the country, that means a new round of extreme cold. It feels like it's below zero this morning from Montana all the way to New England.
A strong storm is taking aim at the west this morning. More heavy rain is raising the risk of flooding, and a 10-mile stretch of the Pacific Coast Highway near Los Angeles is closed because of potential rock and mudslides.
The wet weather began moving into Southern California overnight, threatening to unleash the heaviest rain the region has seen in 3 years. It's the second time in days the area is getting hit. Slick roads made for dangerous driving conditions Wednesday night, but this latest storm is expected to pack more of a punch, dumping up to an inch of rain per hour.
But after 8 p.m., you can't come back up.
Thursday, officials evacuated 1,000 homes in Glendora and Azusa amid fears of flooding and mudslides. Both towns are nestled by hillsides scorched in a recent wildfire.
All this area will become massive debris and dirt flows.
You've got a recently burned hillside here with limited vegetation and a very steep slope. It's a recipe for what the experts say is the potential for a great deal of damage.
Have a look at this. This is the Los Angeles River outside our LA bureau. On Wednesday, it was bone dry. Tonight, the waters are raging as a winter storm batters the drought-stricken West Coast with more water than some places can handle. This is the view from space. You can see just how big the storm system is. The rain is coming ashore in wave after wave, touching off mudslides in some places.
A state that has been so parched suddenly seems overwhelmed with Mother Nature. Rare funnel clouds in the skies, boulders hijacking highways. The sudden onslaught of rain brought hillsides into homes and transformed streets here in Glendora into streams, forcing many to evacuate.
I don't see why I should have to evacuate.
Take their word for it and get out of Dodge.
Parts of the Bay Area are struggling too.
Limited service through the tube.
With rain wiping through public transit computer systems, creeks crashing into backyards. Some fled their homes in a hurry, leaving prized possessions behind.
I didn't know all this debris was going to be coming down.
The rain is set to continue through tonight and clean up for many days ahead.
More than 1,000 homes are under mandatory evacuation orders in hillside neighborhoods threatened by mudslides. Residents were warned that if the slides come, rescue will be impossible.
I repeat, we cannot go into moving mud and debris and risk our personnel to get to you and your homes.
In January, wildfires burned across the hills here that were left dangerously dry after a year with almost no rain. Now, the fear is that with no vegetation holding the ground, these heavy rains could make whole hillsides slip away.
California has 4 seasons. It's drought, followed by fire, followed by flood, and topped off by mudslides.
It has happened in Glendora before. In 1969, rains brought massive mudslides after wildfires left the hills barren. 200 homes were damaged. 34 people died. Since then, Southern California has built stormwater diversion systems to help prevent flooding. But it means all this rain will do little to ease the region's long drought.
In Southern California, we engineered ourselves to move this rainfall as quickly as possible through the basin and out into the ocean. And so one large storm is not much of a fix for Southern California.
In its concrete banks, the Los Angeles River is now roaring toward the Pacific. On Friday, a fast water rescue team saved 2 people and their dogs. Flooded roads and freeways have led to countless crashes. Near Palmdale, California, residents tried to clear debris as floodwaters rose around them. Roads were blocked by mud washed off burned-over hillsides.
Non-stop rain. This is the Los Angeles River, has rapids in it. Usually it is just a trickling stream, close to a half foot of rain in some places, a whole lot more than we've seen since 2011. California overflowing.
That is the sidewalk.
From mud and rock slides to a swiftwater rescue along the rushing Los Angeles River. 2 men and their dogs clinging to this fallen tree. Watch as they pull one dog and the next into the boat. So much of that rain merely denting the remarkable drought, but coming too much too fast for some.
We're evacuating. We're getting ready to get everybody out. The mud's coming down. We've got to go.
At the foothills of the San Gabriel Mountains, at least 1,000 homes evacuating. Intermittent mudslides leaving behind trails of debris. Even though a majority of this initial slide came down already, you can see the problem why the road is closed. This is not road. This is leftover mud, thick throughout the streets. The heaviest rain in almost 3 years, drenching the state with 2 to 6 inches already. The winds taking out trees, knocking out power for at least 30,000. Just look at that storm, the center churning through the Pacific, and it's far from done with California. Watch the clock on the top bar. Heavy bands of rain will pass in and out for the next 48 hours. Another 3 to 4 inches of rain north of Los Angeles, adding to what is already more rain in 3 days than parts of California has seen in the whole last year. Now, this same storm is going to rocket east after Sunday and give snow for the Great Lakes and Northeast. Let me show you how much is expected, at least in some of the computer models right now. That pink is 6 to 12 inches. Some places will get even heavier than that. After such a long winter, Diane, the last thing a lot of people want to hear.
Waves shattering windows in this restaurant. Diners dashing for the door. Storm surges crashing high and hard in Southern California, taking over this pier. Boats pushing ashore, injuring 2 workers after waves sliced into another oceanside restaurant.
He went through the door to the patio that had just been washed out by that same wave.
Trees falling on cars, trucks balancing on bridges, the flooding rains torturing the freshly torched foothills, sending a rescue team rafting into the rapid waters at Malibu Creek State Park to find 4 stranded hikers.
The system seems to have passed through and will give us a false sense that everything's all right, the worst has gone by, and we want to caution everybody.
Flooding and mud creeping everywhere. Diverted by the sandbags. Yay! Instagram and Twitter all abuzz with hashtag LA Rain. From rain pouring over gutters to damaged bridges and cars trapped in the middle of standing water in Los Angeles' Koreatown.
Drive a little slower, just a little more vigilant.
With the 4-day soak coming to an end, the looming threat of mudslides isn't going anywhere.
There's a possibility the mud and water could go up to 6 feet.
While we still will see a few lingering showers here in California, I do want to tell you that this storm is on the move, already producing some winter weather, and many states, I mean really dozens, will see this sort of storm affecting them. Look at this. This is from Kansas City earlier this morning at the airport. You could hardly see anything. The snow coming down hard, and it's not just snow, but snow and ice that we're going to be talking about. A lot of these places will pick up some 6, 7, 8 inches. I wanted to show you exactly what's going to happen, time it out for you. A majority of this is happening today into early tomorrow. You see the pink there, that's 6 to 10 inches. In some spots, like Washington, D.C., you go west into the mountains in West Virginia, you could see locally over a foot with this storm. That's the snowy part. Then we have to talk about the ice, because I've seen some pictures this morning of roads and windshields just smothered in ice, anywhere from northeastern Arkansas to western Tennessee and Kentucky. That's where we're looking for the bullseye of ice with this storm, and that's more today. But of course, we want to touch on that snow, and we have to go to our Alex Perez, who's in Indianapolis on the cold side of this. Alex, what are you seeing right now?
Hey, good morning, Ginger. Here in Indianapolis, they are bracing for anywhere from 6 to 8 inches of snow. This storm is creating major problems as it treks across the country. Accident after accident. Overnight, that fast-moving storm coating the roads in Oklahoma City with dangerous ice. In Denver, the snow and ice blamed for this huge pileup, killing at least 1 person and injuring more than 20.
I saw red lights. Next thing you know, I'm underneath somebody else's car.
Temperatures in the Mile High City dropped 42 degrees in just 1 day. Authorities say at least 104 vehicles were involved in the pileup. In Montana overnight, our first glimpse at the home destroyed by an avalanche that buried 3 people, including an 8-year-old boy. With shovel in hand, neighbors got them out, all 3 now recovering.
I mean, these people are our neighbors, and it could have happened to any of us.
In Pennsylvania, where they are bracing for up to a foot of snow, they are now stockpiling mountains of salt, an additional 20,000 tons after the last storm had them scrambling to find more.
We got our milk!
In Indiana, they are preparing for yet another storm that could bring highways to a standstill.
We have several people come out for salt, and sorry to say we have to turn them away because I don't think anybody's got salt right now.
And take a look at this. Not even the mighty Niagara Falls are matched for Mother Nature's biting cold. 60% of the rushing waters frozen. At Chicago's Soldier Field at the NHL's outdoor matchup of the Blackhawks versus the Penguins, the menacing storm made it difficult for crews to keep snow off the ice. And in Missouri, authorities are telling motorists to stay off the roadways unless absolutely necessary. It's going to be a long day and a long night for the 100 million people in the path of this storm.
Some of the debris coming down the hills is still smoking from a wildfire here last month.
This is not really mud. This is the sludge from the fire.
Ed Heinlein's basketball court was full of it, and it was creeping closer to his house. He fears the hillside may not hold.
It looks small, it is huge, and all is going to come down in these 10 homes here and wipe out Rancho Vasquez. That's the worst case scenario.
Downtown Los Angeles is expected to get almost as much rain from these storms as it did all of last year. The problem is that when the rain comes this hard, this fast, the LA drainage system washes nearly 90% of it out into the Pacific Ocean, and it creates a mess.
Who are those guys? I don't know, but that's not a good idea.
A Weather Channel reporter found out he was no match for the mud in Ed Heinlein's backyard, and neither was his boot.
It happened in minutes. Fire-scorched land couldn't hold the rain, so mud poured down from the Glendora foothills below.
It's havoc. It's bad. It's bad. It hasn't been this bad in a long time. It wasn't like this 20 minutes ago.
They're getting out while they can.
But you're not taking anything with you, you're just grabbing your dog?
Yeah, we got my laptop. I don't need too many things. Everything's gonna be fine. It's all replaceable.
Just a couple inches of rain, and you can see the effect here when the ground, which is burned by the fire, can't hold all of this. And something you'll notice, the debris, it shows it's been scarred by wildfire.
We need to make some plans to help get you out, okay?
Yeah. 1,000 homes are under a mandatory evacuation order because they sit below these scorched hills. 2 months ago, it was wildfire. Today, mud into their pools and backyards. California's been in drought for months. And there's more rain coming, which is bad news for Kim and Dennis Kralik. They chose not to listen to the mandatory evacuation order. They're one road in and out, too covered in mud to drive.
Because you can't get out.
No, not right now. Until they clear this, we're stuck here.
What has Mother Nature been like for the last couple of months for you?
What, we had fire, drought, and now torrential rain.
Wind.
So yeah, pretty much everything.
Yeah, we've hit all 4 elements at this point. I think we're done at this point with any more crazy storms.